Last bit of water through the coffee filter. There we go. I'll be with you in just a moment. In 10 of them, actually. It's a moment, a second. It seems pretty equivalent. And here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Tuesday. It's December 29th, 2020. We're almost there. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. So, a couple things I'll let you know about. First off, when I sat down to edit the book yesterday, start working on that, Microsoft Word was like, "Oh, hey, you've got like 1,000 errors that I'm not really thrilled about." That's a lot. That's a lot. Stacy says, "Good morning. Love the snapshot for the episode." Well, thank you. I try to make them a little different every time. I try not to just have the same thing, the same graphic each time. Try to mix it up. But I chipped away at that. I got it down to almost just under 700. So I cleared 400 of them, and there are some that Word is not picking up yet. This is the downside to me having used voice for a lot of the writing. But it's still going well, and I'll continue today. The other thing was, so for those of you that don't know, I wore glasses from the time I was 8. And then at 28, I got LASIK, and it was awesome. And haven't worn glasses since. If you ever see me wearing glasses, they're blue blockers, and I really want to wear them at night to help me sleep. But two things. One, screens like this one up close mess with my eyes. And I take bilberry extract to help compensate for that. And two, I was playing Clash of Clans on my tablet, the one that I read the YouTube questions from, and that used to be part of my morning routine. But it was just messing with my eyes too much, so I just, done. When I sat down and I really thought about it, because I knew it was contributing to issues with my eyes. And I sat down one day and said, okay, would you choose better eyesight or this silly little game? And it became a very easy decision, so done. So what I did yesterday on, when do we do family stuff? On Saturday, when we did family stuff, Mom always does stockings. And every year, she throws in some Legos for me. Now I want you to know what it is and the age. It's Batman and Penguin in a 4-year-old and up set. Here's the bat boat. The bottom is one whole piece. Like, that's why it's 4 and up. And then, the best part, Penguin in the duck boat. And if you know Legos, you may find this interesting. Look at the legs. They don't bend. Short little penguin. Oh, I cannot think of anybody being, well, actually that's not true. When I think Penguin, I think Danny DeVito from the old, was it the Michael Keaton ones in the 80s? Stacy says that's adorable. Yeah, I think they really are. But in the Gotham series, the guy who played Oswald, Penguin, did a phenomenal job, an absolutely brilliant job in that role. Actually, if you're an all Batman fan or superhero fan or just even good drama fan, you should check out that show. It's phenomenal. Daniel says, I got a Harry Potter like that with no bendy legs. Oh, who is it? Who doesn't have the bendy legs? I have other Legos, don't I? I have Halloween Legos there, Star Wars Legos there, dinosaur Legos. It's Harry. Harry with no bendy legs. Oh, interesting. Legos are fun. Legos, they're not a great investment this way, but you could always sell them. Came with a broom and Hedwig. Oh, nice. I could always throw all these Legos in a box and sell them for something. Somebody would buy them. Somebody would be really excited to get them. So, well, yesterday was yesterday was a really interesting day because I had a bunch of stuff on the calendar. And Dan says, yard sale gold. Yes. And I got it all done. I crushed yesterday. And part of that is because I didn't have nearly as much to do as I did the week before. I think I mentioned the week before that in the first 3 days I had roughly 8 hours of additional calls and Zoom meetings that I wouldn't normally have. And so this has been it was a much nicer day. This is a much nicer week. And so that's where we're headed. Today's gonna be maybe slightly busier, but shouldn't be that much more. Gonna work on the book. Got a podcast interview. Did you check out yesterday's episode? It's a good one. Check out yesterday's episode. We have some good conversation. The plan for fully fixing the Martial Arts Radio website is underway. And my prediction, knock on wood, in a month, we will have dug through all the backlog of all the things we needed to do, thankfully. And then on the other side of that, we can actually worry about improving it, like making it look nice, or some further SEO optimization, or adding some features. I think our episode list is, I don't know, that's old. That's got to get updated because we haven't been able to do anything for months. Stupid hackers. Here's my suggestion. If you have a mission critical website, it should not be WordPress. It just shouldn't. If it's mission critical and you're selling things, it should be Shopify. If it's mission critical and you're not, it should be Squarespace. If it kind of matters, WordPress. If it's going to be really, really complex, try to do it in Squarespace first. Squarespace has always been my favorite platform. It optimizes really well. It's easy to use. I like the story behind it. It was a kid in his dorm room who built it originally. And you really can't hack it. They've started adding some extensions, which was the whole reason I had to go to WordPress in the first place with most of our projects. And they're not even close to the full app ecosystem, but yeah. Keep your websites up to date. What else is going on today? Nothing I can think of. We've got a time for the first test episode for the new podcast that's coming. Gabe and I traded some emails over the weekend and yesterday about Whistlekick Live, which will be out a week from today, first Tuesday of the month. What else? It's cold, it's snowy. I went to the pet store to buy cat food and there were bunnies. And I looked at the bunnies. And it reminded me of having a bunny. I had a bunny for 11 years, for those of you that don't know. And there are still plenty of places in the house that he chewed on. All right, that's enough of that. Let's see what you wrote in. Let's see what you guys gave me to talk about. How do you give me stuff to talk about? You put it in the comment section after the show closes. Because there's no longer... The old episodes are up as audio, but we're not doing audio anymore. Not enough people were listening. All right, here we go. We got stuff from Frank. Thank you, Frank. Today, Tuesday, December 29th, 2020, is TikTok Day. No, not the short video website that sound... No, not the short video sharing website, the sound a clock makes. This is from daysoftheyear.com. Tick, tock, tick, tock. This is the sound of the year, and indeed your life, slowly slipping away. Every moment not spent living life to the fullest is another moment that is gone forever, impossible to reclaim. Tick-tock day reminds you that the year is almost at an end and there are things still left to be doing, and in fact, only 2 days left to do them in. Don't let the year end with regret. Get out there and beat the tick-tock. It's an important sentiment. I've always wondered, what if we knew when we would die? Let's imagine, let's say the average, just for simplicity, the average lifespan is 80. Okay. What if everybody lived to be 100 and you knew exactly when you would die? I think we would value time better because we would see it as a fixed resource. We only have this much time. Do I want to spend a week of my life going to that vacation? Do I want to spend 2 years of my life at this job trying to advance my career? I don't think we would. I think it's the unknown piece. I think it's the vagueness of when we will pass that leads us to this. Because we don't know, we can pretend that we're going to live forever, but of course we won't. And I've actually said, I don't want to spend my time with that person. I don't want to go do that thing. In fact, most of my life has been created in this way. Could I have, when I look at where I am now at 41, if I had chosen a more conventional path, would I have been more financially successful by this point? Absolutely. Undoubtedly. Would I have learned as much? No. Would I have met as many wonderful people? No. Would I be positioned for what I'm going to call my second act with whistlekick and crushing it? No. The financial success will come. I believe that. I wholeheartedly believe that. The fact that there are people watching me drink coffee and talk about martial arts related things live, that tells me that we're going to be successful. But if you're someone who sees yourself just filling time between things, take some of that ownership back. That's your time. It's nobody else's. Doesn't mean you can't still do the things that you're doing. Doesn't mean you shouldn't watch TV. But make sure you're enjoying it. Make sure you are present for it. There's only one thing more precious than our time, and that's who we spend it on. Leo Christopher. The older I get, the more I realize the greatest gift anyone can give me is spending time with me. I went hiking with a friend Sunday. Would not trade that for a physical gift. Right? The time I spent with family on Saturday. If my choices had been presence and not them, or them and not presence, I would take them and not presence over and over again. Stuff breaks, ages, goes out of style, but the people, the memories that you create with them, that you have, that they have, that's really all that matters. What if the gift is handmade and required a lot of their time? Oh, good question. So my choice is I can spend time with someone, or I can have a gift that they spent their time on. I don't know that I can universally choose one, categorically choose one over the other. I think there are specifics there. How much time? That's what it comes down to. If let's say, here's a great example. So in the kitchen, there is a drawing up, and it's a drawing that it's funny. It's one of the few things that I've saved and also still value from an ex, my college girlfriend. She did this beautiful drawing inspired by some of Tupac's poetry. I haven't seen her in quite a long time. We broke up 20 years ago. But she found a way, we lived together. She found a way to work on that drawing and give it to me as a gift. I had no idea she was doing it. She wasn't the most clever, secretive person. And so that's why I've saved it. Now, in that example, if I had known, would I have chosen that over spending more time with her? I don't know that I would have had to, because she found time in between things to chip away at it. But I think I'm pretty much always going to choose the time with someone. Just about. Daniel says, but you seem like you'd appreciate that nuance versus a commercially produced product. I love handmade gifts. Things that people genuinely thought of me for. And even it can be commercial. It can be something that is mass produced. If it's the sentiment behind it. You know, these are going to go up on that shelf right there, that corner shelf stand. And I'm going to think of my family when I see them. Cat's asleep on the heater. Next, time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is like saying I don't want to. Lao Tzu. And Emmett chimes in almost the same sentiment. Time is the most important thing in life. It's the only thing with a real limit. Yeah. When someone tells me I don't have time to do this, depending on who it is, I will correct them. You're saying it's not important to you. Because that's really what we say. There is always time. Someone says, I don't have time to exercise. No, you do. You may not have time to achieve a bodybuilder stage-ready physique, but you have time to do more than you're doing. How do I know that? You sleep. You could sleep 2 minutes less and do some push-ups. Should you? No, not necessarily. But the moment you recognize you have control over your time, you dictate how you spend it, and you start using language that showcases that, that is not as important to me as this, that, and the other thing. That is not the most important thing for me to use my time on, etc. It's empowering. When you say, I don't have time, what you're actually saying is, I am unwilling to take responsibility for my life. That's powerless. That's not what we as martial artists do. We become more powerful. We become more empowered. We choose our destiny. And it's scary, because when you take responsibility, when you are willing to be empowered, now you have to deal with the consequences. You have the responsibility for yourself. You can't point fingers at someone else. You will almost never see me blaming someone else for something going on in my life. Much of that is because I have control, but even when I have things going on with other people and someone treats me in a way that I'm not happy with, I might be upset, angry, mad. Was I treated unfairly? Yes. But I created at least part of the situation by being there. And I choose how I respond, how I react. Emmett says, Schwarzenegger said it best, I think. We're all given 24 hours. It's what you do with yours that matters. Everyone has the same amount of time each day. Yep, we all have the same 24. There is nothing wrong in saying, that is not as important to me as this. Next. The key is in not spending time, but in investing it. Stephen Covey. This is a funny one, because the book that I am working on right now as an audiobook is on time management. And so far through the book, there are a number of things that I'm already doing. Don't use a to-do list, have a calendar. Schedule everything. I already do that. The thing that I'm not great at, that I have to get better at, that I am resolving to get better at, saying no to things. Up until recently, I've said yes to everything. Up until recently, I have responded to every single email I've received via whistlekick. Somebody reached out to me yesterday. Hey, we've got this webinar thing coming. I think you'd really benefit from it. No, thank you. And I was very honest why. I'm resolving I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I'm choosing to say no to new things that are coming up, and unfortunately this is included. I hope you can understand, and at the very least I hope you're not offended. The person said, yeah, totally get it. And so that's what I'm going to be doing more of lately, is saying no. Holding my clients accountable on phone calls. You know, one of my clients that I'm working with, someone that I'm actually learning a great deal from, which I appreciate. I'm used to scheduling meetings for an hour. From day one, his meetings were scheduled for 30 minutes. Sometimes we'd run a couple minutes over, but we're still getting what most people would do an hour on the calendar. We're doing it in 30 minutes, 32 minutes. And so I've started doing that and keeping things fixed, letting people know at the beginning of a meeting, okay, I've got 30 minutes. Let's knock through this. When people know there's an end point, circles back to the beginning, right? When people know there's an end point, they're much more diligent with how they spend time. So, next. All that really belongs to us is time. Even he who has nothing else has that. Balthazar Gracian. All we have is time. All we have is time and memories. Everything else can be taken away. Daniel says, I start those meetings with, I have a hard stop at such and such o'clock. Yes. Stacy says, time, it's why there are 24 official patterns in Taekwondo. ITF Taekwondo. I did not know that. Time is more Time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. Jim Rohn. What if you were to sit down and plan out the rest of your life? I don't mean it like fine detail, but just, you know, this year I'm going to do this. This year I'm going to do this. This year I'm going to do this. Most of us would panic. We'd feel anxious because, oh my gosh, I'm only going to get this many years with, here's a great example. I'm 41. I don't have kids. I'm willing to put kids on the table. If I met somebody tomorrow, and let's say we had kids immediately, I'm probably going to be 65, 70 before I'd be a grandparent. It's an older grandparent, right? And if we think about 80, 85 as an average age, there's a good chance I wouldn't see them graduate high school. Can you hear what's changed in my voice? That's sad. That's sad to think about. But I also plan to live to at least 100, so I'll be fine. But the point is still relevant. Got to hold on to it. Got to spend it wisely. It's a currency that does not replenish. Of course, you can make money and develop skill so that you are more efficient with your time, or things that you don't want to spend your time doing, you don't have to. I have a small house. It doesn't require much upkeep. I'm totally fine with that. I cook simple food. Doesn't take much time. I'm fine with that. I had 2 years where I had a housekeeper. Didn't bother me a bit. I had a cleaner house than I do now. No surprise there. And saved me time. And I would do it again. In fact, I would love to have a personal chef, someone who would not only do the shopping, meal prep, cook, but pay attention to what my nutritional needs were. When I'm rich and I can afford to do something like that, it's gonna be the first personal assistant sort of person I would hire. And one more. Don't spend time beating on a wall hoping to transform it into a door. Coco Chanel. You've got to be careful with what you're expecting to change. If you're expecting other people to change, there's a pretty good chance they won't, and you'll be disappointed. If you expect yourself to change, you can fix that. Daniel says, tell Gojuru guys that. She doesn't say anything about not taking the wall down, though. I read something like this, and one of the first places I go is I check in with myself for the things that I'm doing, and I try to knock down the wall. No, what I'm doing is I'm knocking in various places along the wall looking for weaknesses. Where can I get through? That's what whistlekick's been. That's what we're doing. Books, books, and more books. Lots of books. I came up with another idea yesterday for another type of digital content that I'm not even going to talk about yet, because I got to do some research to make sure it's feasible. Yeah. All right. I'm going to go. I hope you all have a great day. I hope you will consider time. How time, any fiction books, just the one that I'm working on, just the novel. I want you to consider time and how it relates to your day. I want you to think about what martial arts does for you in terms of time. Does it cost you time? Does it really cost you time? Or is it an investment for your future, for your health, for yourself, whatever? I think the vast majority of people come out of any kind of martial arts training feeling invigorated. Maybe spend some time unpacking why that is. Andrew says, we need this reminder at least once a year. I agree. Martial arts is an opportunity to disassociate from time. Oh, I like that. We've all got the same 24. Spend it in the way that makes you happy. No one else. You're the only one that you're accountable to. Truly. So, be honest with yourself. Okay. Leave me some more stuff to talk about. I will see you tomorrow. Bright and early, 6:30, here on YouTube. Take care, everybody. Peace.